People are complex. They have multiple interests, and they grow over time. So you can't neatly summarize them into one sentence, one niche. So tell me, why do experts tell you over and over to pick a niche? Niche down, they repeat. This is the advice that gurus everywhere share with you, whether it's to be successful in YouTube or in business. Well, I'm going to share a secret with you, but first, let's talk about the benefits of picking a niche. I'm Andres Perez, and I'm aspiring to become a full-time creative. Subscribe to learn alongside with me. So the very first thing that picking a niche allows you to do is to focus. Now, this could be broken down into three different things. The first thing is it allows you to focus on an audience, a target. So, whether this is social media or a business, you have to focus on who it is that you're speaking to. For example, let's say you're a photographer. No, let's say you're you're starting a YouTube, right? And your target audience is 18 to 25-year-old males. Their interest is going to be very different from 25 to 40-year-old females. 18 to 25 might be interested in video games, but they have no interest in, say, decorating their house. There might be a couple, but the majority aren't. You have to know your audience. I've been listening to different people, on YouTube, and I'm going to use an example I heard that really hit home for me. It's very different from the normal things you hear. And so this came from Ty Turner from Film Academy. He has a YouTube channel. Check him out. But basically, if you are targeting in California, and it's a gang reference, if you target it on one side of town towards the Crips, and you use red letters, that's not going to go well because their colors are blue and they hate red. Versus if you use blue on the other side of town where they hate blue, it's a gang reference, like I said. It's different. But they're very, very passionate about this, right? They absolutely hate blue. They absolutely hate red. And it's unforgivable. If you don't know your audience, that's not going to work out very well. So the point being is you're never going to appeal to everyone at the same time. As a social media personality, as a business, as a person, because you're unique, not everyone's going to like you. It's just the way it is. So by knowing who does like you and who doesn't, puts you in a good position to succeed, and a niche helps you with that. The next thing a niche helps you focus on is, well, the subject. So it allows you to become an expert. It allows you to master a portion of what you're trying to achieve. So again, photography. I'm using that as an example. If you just say you're a photographer, there's a lot that goes into it. There's so many places you can take that. It's so many that there's niches in it that you can't even think of, to be honest. If you niche down a little bit more and you say people photography, that's still very broad, but it's helpful because now you know, okay, what goes into people photography? Well, maybe posing. If I'm dealing with people, maybe I need to learn posing. Maybe not, because if you're doing street photography, maybe you like to capture the, you like to do it from afar. You just want to capture reality. So you don't need to learn that aspect of it. So when you get further down into the niche, so example, street photography, you do need to learn about lighting, however. That's something that goes across on all photography. That'll help you for sure. But posing's not gonna help you unless you actually interact with your subject. But even then, it might just be a matter of a conversation, and while you're talking to them, you take pictures. It might not be part of your process. But if you're a portrait photographer, you definitely need to know posing. You know, you need to know about those angles and how to get expressions and all that. So that's something that it gives you focus on what aspects you need to learn. Now, the next thing that it allows you to focus on is what gear do you need? Because, again, it is just so broad. So, photography, videography, if you're doing both, there's just so much gear out there. You will go broke if you try to buy all the gear out there, especially when the difference is so minute, right? You don't need all the lenses. You don't need all the cameras. You don't need all the different lightings, the tripods. There's just too much. There's too much. You don't need underwater housings if you don't do underwater photography. You see what I'm saying? The good thing is, because you know what you're going to focus on, it's going to save you money. You know, when the new camera comes out and they start talking about all the specs and the different bells and whistles and this and that, you can think to yourself, that sounds cool and all, but my camera does what I need it to do. That stuff actually doesn't apply to me. So, no, I'm not going to buy it this time around. Maybe next year. But this time, it doesn't offer me anything. So, I'll save my money. You know to make those decisions. So, these are questions that you can answer if you know what it is that you're shooting. And you can only know that by choosing a niche. So, niche gives you focus. That's the first thing it does for you. So, the second thing that choosing a niche does for you is it gives you clarity. You can now tell people what it is that you do. It makes it easier to give a message. For example, if you say you're a photographer, that doesn't really tell people much. All it tells them is that you have a camera and you press a button. They don't understand it. Cool. Alright, so yeah, I have some Christmas family photos. Maybe I'll think of you. Would you do it for $50? But if you say something like, I specialize in increasing revenue for automotive businesses through the use of photographic images. Well, that's quite different. That's quite specific, actually. It does a couple of things. It's very clear to what you do. You take pictures of cars. You serve businesses that sell cars. So if a bride is looking for a photographer, she's not interested in you. But if a business, a car selling business, is looking for a photographer, they'll be heading your way. It does another thing. It makes you more memorable. That message really sticks into their mind. If they are your target audience, it sticks in their mind. Because now it creates value. Let me explain. I specialize in increasing revenue for automotive businesses through the use of photographic images. Basically what it's saying is, I'm selling you money at a discount. That's quite valuable. You know, if you're going to make me $10,000, I might be willing to spend $5,000 with you. Obviously, I'm not going to spend 10,000 because then I'm not making anything, right? But yeah, 5,000, double my money. Sure, the deal, the bargain. But again, back to that bride. You shoot cars. I need something for my wedding. I don't know. Which is going to bring me to the third thing. So the third thing is going to be trust. When you pick a niche and you specialize, people will trust you. Because you're perceived as an expert. So again, we're going back to the example, right? If you shoot automotive photographs to increase revenue, to those businesses, very attractive. They don't mind spending money. If you're going to double their money, they'll pay it. Whatever. They'll pay $1 million if you get them $2 million. And if you're going to 10x it, yeah, they won't spend even more, for sure. I promise. But a bride, she's not going to spend $1 million with you. She's not going to spend $5,000 with you. She's not even spend $1,000 with you if you're specialized in automotive photography. Because she doesn't trust you. You're an expert in taking pictures of cars. What's that have to do with weddings? On the flip side, if you show that you are specialized in weddings, I can trust you. If you show me proof, if I go to your website and it says wedding photographer, wedding videographer, and it shows proof, a portfolio, and it looks good, and I love it, I'm hooked. Or at least I'm interested. But if it shows testimonials, it talks about what the process was like, how easy it is, what it is that you did for them, oh yeah, I want you. I'm willing to pay more for that. I trust you. There's another thing that happens here though by picking a niche. It's called the halo effect. Simply put, if you're good at something, people think to themselves, if he's good at that, if she's good at that, then she must be good at other things. Right? It's kind of like pretty women, handsome people, good looking people. People tend to treat them better because they look good. So they're good at looking good, right? So they must be good at other things. They must be smart. They must be athletic. They must be nice. They must be this and that. So yeah, so if you're an expert at something, you must be good at other things. We'll come back to that in just a bit. But it works backwards too, so be careful. If you're bad at something, people will think you're bad at other things too. If you're clumsy and you trip over yourself while walking, I don't know that I want you holding a camera. Those are expensive, you know. I don't know if I want you to take pictures of me, and I mean, I only have one wedding day, so I don't know if I can trust you with that. Little things add up. Okay, so when people, the experts, the gurus, they tell you to pick a niche, it's a good idea. As I presented, I talked about, and they've talked about, there's valid reasons to pick a niche. However, you may feel that, by doing so, you're going to really just feel trapped, bored. You're just gonna feel creatively crushed. But here's the thing. I got this from Christo. The Future. Look it up. Without E. Specialize externally. Generalize internally. I'll say that again. Specialize externally. Generalize internally. Here's what I mean. To the outside world, you will specialize. You will be niched. But in reality, in your day-to-day life, you don't have to be. That's a great thing. So, I'm going to get into this. There's, of course, reasons for this. So, people want different. So, if you want to dominate in any market, whether, again, that's YouTube or an actual business or any other social media platform, you got to give them something different. And you got to expand your thinking in order to do this. So, in your life, you need different experiences, right? Great ideas come from outside the niche, from outside the industry. New ideas aren't actually new. You may have heard everything's been done under the sun. The truth is, everything new isn't new. It's just the same idea done differently. I just saw a trailer for a movie, Dangerous Game. I think that's what it's called. But basically it's on that book, The Most Dangerous Game, where a man hunts people in his private island. But this is a movie about a man getting hunted in the city. It's the same story. How many movies have you seen about Romeo and Juliet? Guy likes girl, girl likes guy, but they can't be together because they're in different cliques, or she's a nerd, he's a jock, a vampire, werewolf, whatever, right? It's the same thing, just done different. We need that. We need those different experiences. This video came from that. I have a mentor, Brian G. Johnson. You may know him. I recently did some pictures of flowers, even though I'm an event and portrait photographer. But I had to get out of the house. I needed something to do. I needed to practice my photography. A neighbor asked me to take some pictures of her backyard. And I had fun doing it. And even though it's not in my niche, I did it. And I didn't charge her much. She's a neighbor. And by the end of it, it was like $10 an hour. So, not much. I shared some of those pictures on Facebook. And people liked them. But Brian, he commented and he said, you should do a tutorial on those. And that's where this video came from. So yes, I did it because I'm bored, but it allowed me to work on skills that are transferable. I do outside portraits. So when I'm editing the background as well, which has skies, which has flowers, which has grass, which has all that. Those techniques are the same. So here's the thing. Okay, I'll give you an example. Truck companies. When they make commercials, if they show a person, it's always going to be a man. It's going to be a rugged man. Never going to be a woman. Because their main demographic is men. And whenever someone's going to buy something, they need to envision themselves with that product. Right? It's marketing. However, what do you think is going to happen if a woman goes to buy that truck? They're not going to turn her away. No, they're going to sell her the truck. It's the same thing. Just because you have a niche doesn't mean you have to turn down money. So I'll give you another example. So let's say, I'll use myself as an example, okay? So right now I'm niching down to quinceañeras. Oh, if you don't know what a quinceañera is, it's like a sweet 16, but it's Mexican, so it's a sweet 15. Kind of like a bat mitzvah, but it's Catholic. Okay, you know what? Let's say you're a bat mitzvah photographer, okay? And you do a wedding. You are not going to put that wedding on your website because it's going to muddle your message. Remember, niche is about clarity. So you're not going to put it on your website. Because just because you market to a certain niche doesn't mean that other jobs are not going to come in. Remember, you're an expert and people trust you. So if they see you being good at one thing, they may think you're good at other things. You may get an inquiry. Hey, do you do weddings too? Why, yes, I do. And then you can privately send them an email with pictures from your previous weddings. Or not. You can choose to turn it down because you don't do that, right? You can decide for whatever reason, I don't want to do weddings or whatever it is. I don't do dog photography. It's your choice. It's your business. But here's the thing. So here's a secret. All right, you ready? Remember, we specialize externally but generalize internally. So that means we niche publicly, but that doesn't mean we have to niche privately. That doesn't mean we have to turn down money. So when we get those other jobs that are outside our niche, shh, don't talk about them. Don't talk about them publicly. That's a secret. You can take money from different places. You don't have to turn down that money. You don't have to not do personal projects. You can do whatever you want. You're a person. You have layers, you have depth. That's your choice. But publicly, you're going to be an expert. That's the secret. Now, I'd like to hear from you in the comments. So tell me, what's your niche? How do you feel about niching down? And if you found this helpful, share this video. I'd really like to get to know more people out there, see if they're struggling. Just kind of get this conversation going, and don't forget to give this a like since you did make it to the end of the video. I think it's only fair. Till next time, be well and stay safe.